Welcome to Speaking of Pets.
We're the Novotny sisters from Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm Dr. Alice Novotny-Jeroman, a board-certified veterinary dermatologist.
And I'm not. I'm Janet Novotny-King, the doctor's sister, podcast co-host, pet owner, rescuer, and lover.
We're here to provide pet owners with science-based information to help them be the best pet parents they can be.
Here's today's episode, created just for you and your pets.
Hey, Janet, what do you do when you are in the emergency room with your beloved pet and they need an emergency surgery?
And
they have a gastric torsion, or God forbid they were hit by a car, and financially it just doesn't, it's not in that checking account. As a veterinarian, I can tell you, you sign up for CareCredit. It is your friend in, well, not only in an emergency, but in other situations too. And we are lucky enough to have Jonathan Wainberg from CareCredit today, talking about all the virtues of it. And not only that, but we want to get to know his dog, Maddie, who has a CareCredit account, I'm sure.
Who's a mature 15 years old.
Yes. But this is invaluable, I can tell you. Oh my gosh, she is. And for our audience, we need to tell you, she's what, Jonathan, 15 and a half?
Yes. 15 and a half. She, her birthday is in June. So yeah, just about it.
God bless her. God bless her. Is she the only child?
We have a human child, but,
Oh, I'm sorry.
according to her, she's the only.
Yes, as it should be.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, now we're getting the human child.
Well,
no, we're not.
yeah, but human 8-year-old male.
Oh,
but
8-year-old male.
But not only, you said, does Maddie have her own CareCredit card?
Yes.
She does, but not only that, she's actually on it. So.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yes.
You do that for all.
It's a shame that we can use our phones, to charge for credit, because I bet when you would hand that credit card, it just melts everybody.
Yeah. The bills still come, unfortunately, but yes, it does. But we, I think we have a great slogan. Wear your heart on your card instead of on your sleeve. So that's our baby. So that's not out for. That's only a limited release now. So, but we hope to launch that out to our CareCredit card holders in the near future.
Well, now, how did CareCredit get started? Was it because of pets?
No, actually, it started in the dental industry, believe it or not.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story, actually. It was kind of founded by a business that was doing dental implants, manufacturer of the implants, and they weren't getting enough people to by their, the dentist to be able to pay for those implants, and so they went around and started asking, what's the issue? Why aren't we getting people to do this? And they're like, people can't afford it. They said, well, what if we help people pay for it? And there's how CareCredit was born, from a dental implant manufacturer. And the credit business became larger than, the implant. And they started focusing on credit. And eventually it went through a series of different ownerships. And now it's owned by Synchrony Financial, which is a public company, large credit card and consumer banking company.
Wow.
And I'm so glad that it spilled over, if you will, into pet care, because working emergency, if people can't afford that surgery, they will put their pet to sleep.
Oh, God.
And to me, CareCredit has crossed that option off the list.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, it went into the veterinary space not long after it started off in dental. And, those industries kind of tended to be a little bit cousin-like, if you will. A lot of conferences, and a lot of actually dentists happen to own veterinarians also. And so it was the logical progression of where CareCredit should be. And it's been in the veterinary industry for over 35 years. And what I will tell you is it's a lifesaver. It is.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how, when people ask me what I do and what's my what's my career, what's my profession, I tell them, oh, I work in CareCredit. Oh, okay. And in the vet space, they're like, oh my God, you saved my dog's life. And not only does that bring so much meaning to me, it brings so much meaning to the team that's working on this. And it's exciting to be able to work in a financial services industry and in the credit card space, where some people have maybe some negative perceptions of it, and know that what we're doing is saving family members' lives, and the importance of it. So it's not something we take lightly. It's a responsibility, but we're so delighted. I'm so lucky to be able to lead this business.
So how,
You are saving lives. As a veterinarian, I have to give you kudos for that, because imagine the emotion when you have this emergency with your pet and your doctor's telling you, well, we could do this, or if you can't afford it, we'll have to put him to sleep. And you're making that decision in a split second. Yet I can sign up for CareCredit and save my pet and make payments to save their life. I think the world of your company. I have to tell you.
I appreciate it, and I will tell you, it's a lot of things that you don't see when you do it. Is that we've had to change the way we underwrite to make sure that we're approving as many people as possible, knowing that this is a life and death service. We had to make sure that we were available 24/7 and on the weekends, right? To make sure that if an emergency comes up and you can't use your card, or if you need to apply for a card and there's a little bit of information that's wrong with the application, that you didn't really see in the dental space. And so we really tailored it for the responsibility that our veterinarian partners and our cardholders expect from something that could be used in an emergency, life-saving need. I think the other thing that you'll find, and I'm sure we'll get into talking to it, is that people use CareCredit. Yes, it tends to be. It's not uncommon that you use it at first for an emergency, but then people love the product and the service and the options that it provides, that they'll start using it just for normal checkups, wellness visits, you name it. And people that use CareCredit spend more on their pets than those who don't use CareCredit. So the spend is higher because you're giving them the opportunity to get that access to care, which normally maybe wouldn't be afforded to them, and a much better compliance of care. Because as you know, when you're seeing a patient, sometimes you'll give a different treatment plan depending on what is approachable. And so our goal is to also help get at least make it an option that someone gets to choose which level on that spectrum of care makes sense, and what they can do.
Right.
so how does it work for Joe Pet owner?
Yeah, so if you already have the card, it's pretty easy. We're accepted in about over 27,000 veterinarians in the U.S. So basically over 85% of the vets in the U.S. Right? It's a revolving credit product, which is very important, because that means you can use it again and again without having to apply for credit, right? And you can have various charges at the same time, because as we know, when you're people either have multiple pets, many families now, so it's not just tied to one pet, but also you're going to go to the vet 2-3 times a year. It's not a one and done visit, even if you do have an acute need. So you can apply at carecredit.com, or you can apply at the veterinarian office, and either scan the QR code or different ways to apply. It's a soft credit check at first to make sure that you qualify, and then once which basically takes under 60 seconds to know if you're
quick.
qualify. Yep.
Wow.
And then it's ready to use right away, and you're ready to go. And what the product basically is it's a deferred interest promotion, and so you'll get the card, and together, depending on the promotions or the financial products that are being offered by the veterinarian, you can get a 6-month, 12-month, 18, 24-month without interest. So really depending on the price of what you need to be financed, and you have that time to pay it off. And as long as you make those payments within the promotional period, you don't accrue interest, which is a great thing. So number one, we underwrite deeper so that more people can be in the network and get the card. And number two, we give them the flexibility and the time to pay that off.
Because I'll tell you, when our Boomer got really sick, we still don't know what happened. He was only 4. And he ended up passing. And I'm at the vet office. And well, he needs an MRI, ka-ching, on the credit card. Well, he needs to have this surgery, ka-ching. By the third time, I called our credit card company, my husband and I, and said, what's our limit? Because I kept just handing over that card. I didn't know what
Yeah.
else to do. And I came out and I said to my husband, well, we can basically take care of the dog and go to Tahiti with our credit limit, but you really don't know what you're getting into. And Alice, like you said, it's a split-second decision.
Well, and not always. I have a good example. I used to see a fox terrier with an elderly gentleman owner, human owner, and the dog was in heart failure, so it would have abdominal ascites. In other words, the belly would fill with fluid,
Yeah.
and then the dog couldn't breathe. He would have to go to the cardiologist literally every 2 weeks to have that drained. Plus, I said to him, he said, well, and I need a refill on my prescriptions. And I said, well, aren't you seeing Dr. So-and-so, the cardiologist? Yeah, but every time I go, it costs me. So I refilled his prescription for him. But see, that would have been the perfect example to have CareCredit because it's a recurring condition. And I don't want to get personal, Jonathan, with your dog with Cushing's disease. But your dog Maddie has to have an ACTH stim periodically. Those are not inexpensive. So not only is it for emergency care, it's for chronic disease
Wow.
that may involve medications that are expensive or testing that's expensive.
Absolutely, yeah. So for Maddie, as we discussed, she got two chronic issues. She has Cushing's, and we go at least 4 times to make sure that her her levels of the cortisol are at the right
Yes.
point and that the medicine is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then she has a mitral valve deficiency, so she has to get an EKG to make sure that it's not expanding, and she's on medicine for that. And we do that about twice a year, right? And those are not inexpensive visits. And so the ability to spread that out over 6 months or 12 months makes a world of difference. And so I use it for both. Let's call it more maintenance. And thankfully, Maddie hasn't had too many emergencies. I have had a couple of 2 o'clock in the morning visits that you had to go because I don't speak dog and she wasn't feeling well and I was worried. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring her because her stomach isn't reacting well and she can't she's clearly in duress. But for us, it's been a lot more about maintenance and being able to provide that regular care that's thankfully allowed us for her to share so far 15 and a half years with us and hopefully many more to come.
Wow. So what?
Will it cover things like dentals?
So it will cover anything that's at the veterinarian
Oh,
office. So
okay.
if you
Good to
sell
know.
if you sell like a prescription diet or even the medicine, we're now we've expanded to get into a little bit into grooming and boarding because people are traveling, need a place to stay, and boarding is not
Right.
it's a good service, but it's not without it's pinch on the pocketbook, right? So it'll cost you. So yeah, we've expanded to that place. So anything dental is a big thing for us,
Wow.
especially during dental kind of health month in the pets, and that was really what I will tell you. The big shock bill, like my first vet bill that I was like, oh my God, was when Maddie went to get her teeth cleaned and had to have a few extractions. And, it was something
Yeah.
that was completely unexpected. And it was about, I don't know, I want to say about a $1,500 bill or something like that.
Yeah.
And but teeth are so important.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
generally in human health, dental
Right.
kind of hygiene is a large indicator of health and longevity. Well, even more so for dogs and cats that use those teeth for everything, right? Because that's one of their main, tools that they can use. So yeah, it's so important. We see a lot of people taking advantage of the promotions on our card during that dental to get that cleaning.
Wow. So it covers a lot.
Yeah,
You know what I
anything.
mean? Grooming.
We from the beginning, from vaccines and and to transitioning into where when their time unfortunately with us is gone, helping transition them in that right way and even memorializing them. So yeah, we're really there for the entire life cycle of the pet. We're not yet accepted for pet acquisition, so buying a pet, because we want to make sure that it's all done with the right partners in that space, and we know that there can be a proliferation of unscrupulous
Yeah.
place. So we don't want anything a part of that. We're very much aligned with. We're the only one that's partnering with the AVMA, AHA, all the vet
Right.
universities were accepted, and so we're really try to give back into the vet industry and be very um, very by the book on how we look at it, because we don't want the card to be used for the wrong reasons.
I have to say, you're very respective of the profession, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It's a partnership, right? And
Very much so.
it's difficult, right? Having you be in that situation where you're not able to provide that service, which you can help if they don't have the money. Now, I'm sure you do an incredible amount of philanthropy, but at the end of the day, veterinarians, whether they're independently owned, corporate owned, or through universities, they're also in business to be in business. It's not a not-for-profit. You can't just give away service nonstop. Yes, there is some level of philanthropy and free service I'm sure you're giving, but at the end of the day, you guys have invested a lot in your careers, and vet school is not cheap, and people are coming out with a lot of debt. And so we try to give back as much to the industry as possible. And we also know how hard it is for the vet profession when they're dealing with someone who is struggling. So we try to give back. We try to provide, whether it be training on how to speak and deal with clients in that kind of situation where a card holder or someone who doesn't yet have a card, how to get them to talk about it. It's not an easy topic, right? And it's not an easy topic,
Right.
for the person who needs maybe the credit at that period, because they're focused on the health of their pet family member. And it's also hard for whether it's a practice manager, a vet tech, or a veterinarian to start getting into finances when ultimately we should all be focused on the health. That's why we did this lifetime of care study, and one of the things is we know that, or at least through the study, that 4 to 5 pets will experience some sort of medical emergency. And at that time, the pet owner is as equally concerned about the outcome of the pet as in the cost. And that's not a healthy place to be. So what we want to really do is focus on getting people to know that they have that CareCredit card, that's going to be there, that's going to help them cover whatever surprises might come, and so that they can focus just to be with their pet in that time of stress, and where their love and their wishes and prayers can be focused on what they need to be.
Hey, did you know that Blue Buffalo makes prescription diets that are formulated by animal nutritionists and veterinarians? And they're used for dietary needs such as kidney support, gastrointestinal support, weight management, and our favorite, allergy and skin problems. They make a food allergic diet that's an alligator-based called NP, or a hydrolyzed salmon-based for dogs and cats called HF. So please, ask your veterinarian about Blue Buffalo prescription diets.
Hi everyone, I'm Larry. Some of you know me as Grandpa Larry, and I run Larry's Animal Safari on YouTube, where we share sweet and educational videos about baby gorillas, zoo animals, and the amazing teams who care for them. If you love animals of all kinds, I'd love to have you join us. You'll meet little ones like Jamila and Kayembe, learn how zoo families grow, and enjoy real moments that bring joy and curiosity to animal lovers everywhere. Just search Larry's Animal Safari on YouTube, or click the link in the show notes. New videos go up weekly, and each one supports awareness for animal care and conservation. Thanks to Speaking of Pets podcast for all they do. Now, let's get back to the show.
So how does CareCredit differentiate from other similar products? Like, what sets you apart from your company?
Well, let me just say this. What other similar products are there? I only am familiar with CareCredit as a veterinarian, but...
Well, thank you. And I'm sure is not going to advertise anyone else on this. No, there's a couple of... seriously, there are a couple of other providers that are there, but CareCredit, because we've been doing this for 35 years, have by far the largest, kind of penetration into the market. And, the other thing that's great about the CareCredit card, because we talked about it's accepted in dental and in a network of human health specialties, cosmetic, you name it, audiology, vision, and stuff like that. So what a lot of people, the majority of people who take out CareCredit at first, get it for a human condition. So mainly dental is being the large one. But then the second time they use it, because so many people have now chosen to share their lives with pet, they're like, oh, wow, this also works in the veterinarian industry. That's amazing. I now have this line of credit, which I could use for the vet. So that's one of the things that differentiates from any of our competition is
Wow.
that the utility of the card is so strong, and the amount of cardholders that we bring to that veterinarian office is about 40% that come from outside the vet industry, which is amazing.
Wow.
Number two, it's and I think this is the biggest difference. A lot of the people that are in our market now are kind of like a one and done financial service, so maybe kind of similar to like a buy now pay later type thing. And
Yeah.
listen, those are products that are good in some situations. What we find is that it's very rare that someone uses a CareCredit card just once, and especially just once in the vet industry. And so imagine having to apply for credit multiple times, not knowing if your financial situation has changed or deteriorated, or if things have changed in the lending market and where people have to kind of cut back. This is a line of credit that you can use and use over and have that through your lifetime of your pet. I can't tell you how many people, like you jokingly start out, does Maddie ever own credit card? Well, I can't tell me how many people are like, no, that's my pet's credit card. Like they reserve it in that almost to some extent as self-insurance and stuff like that. But those are the things. And then just giving those different flexible financing options is incredibly valuable. So not having to being able to get on a deferred interest promotion and not have to, do it all in one shot and pay it over 12 months in normal bite-sized pieces is huge. And then just the wide acceptance, being in around 85% of the vets in the United States, that card is going to work not just at your general practitioner, but if you have to go for a specialty hospital or an emergency. So Maddie uses her card, in different places, her cardiologist, her GP, when she goes for boarding and for her medicine.
I'll tell you what's interesting to me is, okay, you've got this card for the life of the pet or pets, and as opposed to keep applying for different credit cards, your credit score is going to go down if you have to keep applying each time. You see what I mean? So it's nice to have that lifetime card. At least I think so. And the other thing too, I've been a veterinarian since 1989, so I've seen the emergence of all of our new technology. We didn't do a lot of MRIs or CTs when I graduated vet school, but now everything is, needs a CT, needs an MRI. And I think that's great because it can zero in, does my dog have a brain tumor or not? He's circling in the dining room. Okay, is it an infection or a tumor? And those are not inexpensive. So it's nice to be able to know that I've got this card that, okay, I can find out that. And then I can make the right decision as to what I'm going to do after that. Just paying for the diagnostic part, I think, is a big help, let alone the actual therapy.
Yeah, you're going to walk in with confidence of knowing that, whatever is the right decision, you're going to be able to handle and focus on that. I think, Janet, your story before about your credit card and calling to see what your limit was, and your ability to multitask and get your dog taken care of, but also book a trip to Tahiti that was great. But the truth is, like, we just because someone comes through the door with a Visa or an Amex, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be able to pay that off in 30 days. And so that's the beauty of this product. Yeah, I have other credit cards and I could put it on, but am I going to be able to pay off a $3,000 bill in 30 days or 60 days? Maybe not. And with the CareCredit card, you're able to get into a promotion that's going to give you the amount of time to pay it off while not accruing interest, as long as you're making those payments and get it done over the promotional period. And that's so valuable to help people with budgeting and to be able to access that. Because if you say, hey, I have 30 days, or if I have 12 months, well, you're going to be able to take a $1,200 bill and not have to pay it off in 30 days. And if you put it over a year, pay $100 a month over for 12 months. Well, now you're talking and you can get something done. And then as we've seen, cost of care, rising, it's even more important now than ever, right? Than having that. Now, doesn't mean cost of care rising is necessarily a bad thing, right? Like you were talking about all the technologies that we have out there, and also people are willing to spend more on their pets, which is amazing because, I'm sure, what you've seen since 1989 to now, the connectivity that we have with our pet family members, it's a joy to be able to spend more, for some people. Yeah, it hurts when you see the bill sometimes, but that care is going to be state of the art and is going to, be able to let you have a pet like Maddie for 15 and a half or 20 or however long, we'll be lucky to share our life.
And I think it adds to peace of mind because I would get a lot of pet owners that say to me, well, what if I had done this? What if it was this? And this way, if you have the finances there via the CareCredit to do the testing and say, okay, this is what it is, instead of after euthanasia, well, what if it wasn't that? We were just guessing. No, we've got the diagnosis because I could run those tests, the CT or the MRI. And like I said, then it makes you be able to make that decision because there's so much guilt after, oh, did I do the right thing? Did I do it too soon? Did I not? Boy, peace of mind is worth a lot of money.
You're empowering them to be able to make the choice that's right for them as opposed to being forced in the corner. And here's what we know, that 8 out of 10 pet parents underestimate the cost of what pet care is, right? And what something costs. And almost 3 to 4 have faced an expense of around $500 that they're not ready, to kind of cover. And so that's the kind of stuff that I think that we're trying to address, and a lot of it is communication, and a lot of it is a lot harder, or I don't say a lot harder. We've been blessed that pet ownership is at an all-time high, or people have seen the value, and especially through, when we went through the pandemic, people saw the value of your mental health with sharing your life with a pet, and physical health, and being outside and seeing all the great things that come through the human-animal bond. But we have a lot of first-time pet parents now, more than ever.
Yes.
And those pets are around 4 years now. That's when you start, you would know better than me, but that's when you start seeing a little bit more serious issues. And I think you're going to have a lot of people coming in and being like, oh, wow. And we want to do whatever we can to help prevent pets having to be surrendered for financial reasons back to shelters or even worse, economic euthanasia, right? That's what we want to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally.
Well said.
Yes. So what are the payback periods? You mentioned like 3 months, 12 months, 6 months, or can you pick which one you want?
It's really...
How is that determined?
Yeah, it's really determined by the veterinarian. So it's up to them to determine which promotion they want to do. Everyone will have a 6 month. So right now, if it's $200 or more, they'll automatically have the option for a 6 month payoff period. And then it really is up to the veterinarian to decide, okay, at what point can that, pet parent, what can they afford over a period of time? They could work with them. So, but generally it goes 6, 12, 18, 24 and longer. And I would say the best way is, to determine kind of usually by cost at what, kind of how much time you think someone would need to pay that back. I like to think that if you're going to go on a 12-month promotion, you probably should make that available at 12 months because that's $100 a month, and try to make it a little bit easier to communicate with the cardholder. But it's really up to the veterinarian. Some people may say, I can only afford $50 a month, and it's it's a $600 bill. Okay, then here's how we can make it.
Well, using that example, so Janet goes to the vet and Libby has a $600 bill and she signs up for CareCredit. Then does CareCredit immediately pay the veterinarian the $600, and then Janet pays CareCredit back so much per month, which she's agreed to?
So
is that how it
gets
works?
Paid within a day. and or
Okay.
something like that within, it just depends on the bank.
I do remember
But
that.
they
Yeah.
get paid. Yeah, they get paid directly from CareCredit so that they can provide the
Yeah.
service right away. And if you already have a CareCredit card or you apply, they'll tell you what your credit is and how much you could use. But right away, the veterinarian knows that it's on CareCredit, and there's no doubt that they're going to get paid, and we pay them within X amount of time. Very usually like a day or something like that. Then you would go on the promotion, and you would probably, let's just use that example, let's say a 6-month promotion for a $600 bill, and you would go on to manage your account, and generally it would be $100 a month for 6 months, and then you'd be done.
Okay.
And that's as easy as that. You could set it up for auto pay, connect it to your banking system, and have it pay $100 a month, so you never kind of miss a payment. And the beauty is also, just because you've had that first $600 payment, as long as your credit limit is above $600, which you could go even 2 months later if you had a follow up and get on another 6-month promotion, have it all tied. So you can have multiple things, whether it's for the same pet or for multiple pets, or for that matter, if you have a child who has braces and you're using it for braces, but then also you need to do something with your pet.
Blue Buffalo Natural Veterinary Diets offer a natural alternative in nutritional therapy. With their in-house research and development team with over 300 years experience in well pet and veterinary therapeutic diets, more than 600 scientific publications, and more than 50 U.S. patents. Blue Buffalo Natural Veterinary Diets.
Hi everyone, I'm Larry. Some of you know me as Grandpa Larry, and I run Larry's Animal Safari on YouTube, where we share sweet and educational videos about baby gorillas, zoo animals, and the amazing teams who care for them. If you love animals of all kinds, I'd love to have you join us. You'll meet little ones like Jamila and Kayembe, learn how zoo families grow, and enjoy real moments that bring joy and curiosity to animal lovers everywhere. Just search Larry's Animal Safari on YouTube, or click the link in the show notes. New videos go up weekly, and each one supports awareness for animal care and conservation. Thanks to Speaking of Pets podcast for all they do. Now, let's get back to the show.
So, okay, bad news. What kind of credit score do you have to have? I'm sure you have to turn people down.
Yes, we do. We underwrite as deep as we can, and it is deeper than if you were to go and just get a general purpose credit card, because we know that it is restricted to the health and wellness space in the CareCredit example, right? It's not like you could go and take that credit card and use it in whatever, filling up your car with gas. Let's just use that example, right? So we know that there's going to be certain better outcomes, perhaps because people are going to pay it off, and there's not going to be as much fraud and things like that. It's not just based on credit score. Yeah, that's one of the things we look at, but we have a great technology we call Prism, which looks at many different factors. I think it's like 6,000 different factors to kind of find and underwrite and find the best way to be able to approve as many people as possible, and at the right limits. And then if you have a line and you find that it's not large enough for what you need, you can call up and say, hey, I need a credit line extension or, expanded credit line. And they could do that. They'll assess and they can do that if you need more line of credit as well.
That's great. Wow.
I'm curious, when you started it for pets, did it take off right away? Because it seems like it would.
It did, and it didn't. I would say so. There are two reasons. Yes, there were some people who got it right away, but I think also if you look at where cost of care, we're seeing it really the last 5 years really increase because more people and are having pets, and so that there's more need. I think also some of the systems in the veterinarian hospitals, right, are a little bit lagging in technology. I think we've made a lot of advancements. So some of the integrations that had to be done with whether it's the practice management systems and just the veterinarians, I think there was a lot of old-fashioned bookkeeping, perhaps using Excel and things like that. So, but yes, it is after dental, it is the largest part of the CareCredit network, and I'd say it is incredibly highly penetrated, which is fantastic. And like you said, we see, right, it is a life and death thing, and so the amount of people that now have that CareCredit card that transact in a veterinary place. I think someone on my marketing team was giving me a stat. I think it's about 4 million people will use their CareCredit card in the vet space this year, or something around there. I don't want to,
That's crazy.
something
Wow.
like that. So it is so commonly known in the industry, and that a lot of that has to do with the investment that we've put into not just obviously marketing and technological advances, but working with the vet industry and understanding the needs of a pet owner to pet parent to make sure that everything is working in the way that it should be.
Well, kudos to you, because anything getting talked about to vets has to be quick,
Yep.
and it has to be easy because we're busy.
Yes.
And I have to say, CareCredit was quick. It was easy as far as the monetary reimbursement to the vet. Like you said, it was there the next day or by the second day, and everyone was happy. The pet owner, the vet, the pet. So it was a wonderful experience in my practice.
I'll tell you, you learn from experience, right? And so what was incredibly insightful to us, and going back to the pandemic again, is when we went to like curbside service, which was very tough. We said, how do we make this easier? And so it's so easy. We want to take the decision and the stress out of the veterinarian staff. So if you go and you just scan a QR code right there while you're waiting in the waiting room, we have such great partnerships with our vet partners that really give them the options and explain it to them, and with the education. It's so simple. You scan the QR code with your phone, and within a minute, you're going to know if you have it or not generally. And then, of course, being proactive about it, because we all love our pets, and but we all know that at some point, we're going to need something. It's funny. I keep saying it's I don't know if it's an oxymoron or something. Expecting the unexpected. Maybe that's not an oxymoron, but how do you expect something that's unexpected? Well, we all know here that your pet is going to have an emergency, and you're not going to be prepared for it. So why put yourself in that situation? Get the card even before that even happens. You're not even at the veterinarian wondering how you're going to pay for that bill.
No, that's smart.
And you can actually ask your veterinarian about that when you bring in a new pup. Say when I was doing general practice, if I had a dachshund come in as a puppy, I'd say to the owner, they have a lot of back problems. Spinal surgery is in their future. Hey, that is, and now these French bulldogs, which is the most common breed in this country, most popular breed. Look at all their problems.
Yes.
So it's good to prepare. And like you said, expect the unexpected. And if you never have to use it, fine.
There's no annual fee. There's no cost to apply. So what do you have to lose?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this has been incredibly interesting, because I had no idea. Alice is like, we're having CareCredit on. So I'm, researching, but I had no idea how convenient it is.
You're such a client.
I'm such a client. That's the role I'm supposed to take. I'm supposed to ask all the questions.
But you are.
Don't ask when you're at the vet, right?
Well, and Janet, bad news, you're not going to be able to use that CareCredit card to buy your vacation to Tahiti.
I know, but I didn't even know what our credit card limit was, and
But she could get implants.
I could,
Yes.
boy.
Oh
The
my
minute they say implants, I literally run, because I've had two.
Yes, but Jonathan, the fact that you pay for audiology, because that is not covered.
No. And so that's where, that's the beauty of CareCredit is it's really the markets where we really focus on are where our cardholders struggle, and that's where insurance doesn't show up, right? So there is pet insurance, and we believe that pet insurance is a good thing, but only 4% of pets in the U.S. have insurance. That means 96% are uninsured. Audiology, braces, cosmetic procedures, so much of what we do, it's not just what we do, but so much of what we do is where there's either not an established insurance payment system or coverage, I should say, or in other areas where are more emerging, like even, when you think about fertility and things like that, it's just, there's amazing things that if you can give people the access to do in a responsible way, it opens up doors for them, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, and to me, I don't like complaining about something unless you have something to offer. Like, okay, I get it. Vet expenses are getting higher and higher. But here's the option. CareCredit. I mean, it is an option, and it's a good option at that. You may never need it, but you've got it in your back pocket should you need it.
I agree.
So we do have one request. If you guys could look into paying the $89 for the phone call to the pet poison line.
Oh,
Pet Poison
Whatever
Helpline.
it's called.
We have had them on the show, and we told them you were going to be on, and they said, "Oh, would you ask that for us?" And I said, "Well, sure, I will." So there, we've done our duty,
it's
Janet.
out there.
okay. Well,
Yes.
let me know after how I can help.
Especially with the Christmas chocolate season coming.
And the poinsettias.
And the great
Yes, and the fatty turkey
turkey.
pancreatitis season
Yes,
next
exactly.
week.
It's their best. The Thanksgiving is their best day of the year and their worst day of the year sometimes.
Oh boy,
Yep.
that's for sure.
Yep.
Well,
That's
thank
for
you so
sure.
much. We do have a question for you. What is your pet or human peeve?
You want to know what's happening a lot to me now, which is my pet and human peeve. It's going to sound funny, but it got. I was asked it the other day, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, when there's an expression, especially in business, but it's called pet project, right? We're not going to focus on pet project. Every project I do is a pet project. It makes me feel like what I am doing isn't important. I was at this meeting the other day. I'm like, I don't want to hear the word pet project. You're diminishing my life's work, or maybe not my life's work, but a big chunk of it. So that is one of them. I would say the other one is we travel with Maddie a lot, and she's small and she can go on there, the seats, and we're lucky.
Yeah.
I spend so much money just to and I don't mind spending the money to have her travel with me, but for her to count also as my carry-on, I should at least get another carry-on if I'm paying $150 to have her underneath the seat.
I agree.
That's
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, that
You're absolutely right.
Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. This has been amazing. I learned a lot, and I'm sure our listeners did too. We appreciate you. Thank you.
And as a veterinarian, I can't encourage our listeners enough to look into CareCredit. It's something to be proactive about instead of reactive when you need it most, and it's 2 a.m. and you can't make that decision. And I can tell you, in my practice, it was easy peasy. They signed up. Everyone was happy. The dog got everything it needed diagnostically and therapeutically, and the cat too, and a few rabbits and mice and rats that we saw as well.
A few birds flying around also, especially at 2 a.m. I think, listen, I thank you guys for what you're doing, for having me on, giving me the opportunity to let people know about what we're trying to do and how we try to help pet parents. Like you said, I agree. Let's be proactive if you can, but we'll also be there at 2 a.m. if you have to apply. And but hopefully you don't put yourself in a situation where that just adds unnecessary stress. But thank you so much for your partnership and everything you guys are doing in the industry to educate your listeners and more to come about pet health and how to really make the most of that great relationship we're lucky to have with them.
Well, that's why we're here, because there's so much misinformation out there with Dr. Google.
Yep.
And it was so frustrating when clients of mine, even though I'm retired now, would call me and state something. I'd say, where did you hear that? And so then that's when I said to Janet, we've got to do this, because this misinformation is going to harm these pets. And these people are reading it, and because they're reading it, they think it's the Bible and it's a truth, and here it's misinformation. So thank you. But thank you for what you do. It's I can tell you, as a veterinarian, it meant the world to me in my practice.
Oh, thank you. I'm lucky to be in the job. It's a big responsibility, but it's very worthwhile work. And at the end of the day, everyone on our team is so motivated, because what we know makes a difference in lives, and that's something we cherish. It's something we take seriously, and hopefully we rise to the occasion more.
But your most important role has to be Maddie's dad.
Okay, I'll give you one more.
Is she still there? She's still there.
Yes.
I knew we could get her for a final view.
Here she is.
Oh my gosh, she's just a little dumpling.
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
She's a good girl, and
Oh, our producer's getting a picture of her. Oh,
yes.
Miss Maddie.
Yeah, so
Does she have a middle name?
No. She's just Maddie Wainberg.
That's cute, Maddie Wainberg.
Yeah, and she's Maddie because we were living in New York City when we got here, and we were living on Madison Avenue. So yeah, I'm just happy we weren't living on 3rd Avenue. Would have been a terrible name, 30, but whatever. So I've used that joke before, and thank you.
I love hearing name derivations.
Yes.
How people came to name their pet. Janet, tell them yours.
Oh, Libby came with Libby. Oh, and then, okay, so then I take her to the vet for the first time, and they're like, well, what's the rest of her name? And I said, oh, well, it's Libby of Buckeye, because I am an Ohio State Buckeye.
Oh,
So it's
great
kind of
veterinary
like,
school. Great veterinary school.
Alice is a graduate.
We think so.
Oh, you
And-
are?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Good book out by the dean, Rustin Moore.
He's my classmate.
He's
gonna be
Rusty's been on the show a few times. He's almost like,
signing copies of his book at the Western Vet Conference at the CareCredit booth. So you see, like those like the partnerships, not that's just on his book, but just in general, the partnerships we try to get
Yes.
with the industry and learn from the teaching hospitals and everything like that is so
Yes.
valuable on how we get better. So there you go.
well, now it's his second book.
Oh,
We had him. I
It was
can
the
show you
human
his first one
bond.
too.
It was the human bond, right?
yep.
Yeah. But now it's Unleashing the Bond.
Unleashing,
But
yep.
Jonathan, make sure you ask him about his miniature schnauzers. He's a schnauzer man.
Okay.
He has 3.
He's got 3.
I will. ask
Travis,
him.
Teddy, and Tucker.
And one got attacked. One got attacked in their, they have
Yes.
defense
Look,
like I
and
do.
he's got a busy. You got the Ohio State Michigan game coming up, and I think he
Yeah.
was on.
you
We've
can't
seen him
say
on
that
TV
word.
with he gets the fire hydrant painted in the Michigan colors, and he has to go
Yes.
in and go. So it's a big week for him.
So, Jonathan, the cool thing that happens on campus is, it's a huge campus, 65,000
Yeah.
students, and every single M on every single sign all across the campus gets a big red X
That's funny.
the week before the game. It's pretty incredible.
My in-laws went
Yeah.
to the Ohio State. They're originally from Youngstown, Ohio, but they don't live there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I saw patients in Warren, Ohio, which is
that's right
right
there.
adjacent.
They got that famous
Yeah.
pizza there, that Briar Hill pizza there. It's like a special.
Oh,
pizza.
really?
It's,
Oh, I did not know that at the time.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, we still
Oh.
know the number for our pizza place, 261-1130.
261-1100.
1130.
1130. Yeah, sorry.
That was Carmela's Pizza where we grew
In
up.
Euclid, Ohio.
Okay. Old school.
Anyway, we should wind it up.
Yeah.
Thank you
Hey,
so
Jonathan,
much.
we can't thank you enough. And give Maddie a big kiss for us.
Extra
will.
treat.
Absolutely. She gets an extra treat. That's for sure.
Low fat.
Only.
Okay,
she's,
good.
and
Treat,
she's
you
14
can have a
and
little
a half
fat.
years. She's still 8 pounds. Listen, it's she's not going to be needing the doggy Ozempic. I'm not worried about that.
Well, anyway, this is Dr. Alice Novotny-Jeroman and
Anna Novotny King saying thanks for listening. We appreciate you. Don't forget to share, like, follow, everything you have to do to make us popular. We appreciate you, and thanks for listening.
kiss the pets for us.
Hey, thanks for watching.
and listening.
We like likes.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Speaking of Pets.
And give your pets a big kiss from the Novotny sisters.
The Speaking of Pets podcast is an SLA video production.